Hi, velkomin á rásina mína að læra íslensku or welcome to my channel, Let's Learn Icelandic. My name is Ása and I'm here to teach you Icelandic. And today I'm going to teach you the word good in Icelandic. Good, or which is góður, spoiler alert. Today I'm going to focus on both the word good and similar words, meaning both similar in grammar or similar in meaning. But first, before we start, you should probably take a look at my lesson number 18 and 19, so you know something about the personal pronouns and the verb to be. I'm just going to assume that you have some underlying understanding of these. And also this is a continuation in my series of tackling Icelandic adjectives. So I also recommend that first you watch the lesson about the legur adjectives, about the samur adjectives, and about using bad in Icelandic. Because adjectives in Icelandic are not so easy, so we're just taking it step by step. First of all, let's do the grammar, because once the grammar is done, then we can start to use the word and see how it's done. So let's just do it like we always do. Good in Icelandic is góður. This is the dictionary form of the word, which means also male singular form. And then in the previous lessons we learned about vondur, which is bad, and we also learned about the legur adjectives, which are excellent because they are super regular. And an example of that is skemmtilegur or fun. So let's just see how it goes when it changes by gender and plural and singular in Icelandic. So in the male form, in the male singular form, these are all the same as the dictionary form. So you say hann skemmtilegur, hann vondur, and hann góður. And you notice that all these different adjectives, they end with the ur ending, which is very common in Icelandic adjectives, but not all of them end with ur, but many of them do. So then when you want to put the female form, I hope you remember some of my previous lessons, maybe you can take a guess. For skemmtilegur, you see what you do is that you simply drop the ur. You drop the ur, and what is left is the root of the word. So you say hún skemmtileg, hún vond, and hún góð. Okay, this all looks very logical. We have a rule, we have everything is going according to order and it's predictable and so on. But then we get to the third person in the neutral form. And then this is probably the case, which is most often deviates from what is expected. Okay, so first we take the legur adjective, which is perfectly irregular, and then we say það skemmtilegt. Það skemmtilegt. You take the root of the word and add the T. Sounds simple enough. But when you have the word vondur and you end with a D, the root of the word ends with a D, then you don't want to put DT because we don't like it. We don't like it, so we just switch the D into a T, and this is a general rule when the root ends with the D, so we say það vont. Það vont. So what happens when we have eth at the end of the root of the word, like hún góð? Adding T to that is almost impossible. So what we do when we have an eth at the end, we turn it in not into a T like we did with a D, but into two T's. Two T's. And on top of that, the word good is irregular, so we say það gott. Það gott. So the eth suddenly turns into two T's, and the O turns into an O. O turns into an O, so we say gott. So the eth turning into two t's, this is regular. This is what usually happens when the root of the adjective ends with an eth. However, the o suddenly turning into an o, this is only for the word good. This is just an irregularity only for the word good. But the good thing about the word good is that it's so commonly used. You will hear this version got all the time. So it will likely be relatively easy to remember. Then the plural is all regular. The plural is all regular. So you say þeir eru skemmtilegir, þeir eru vondir, þeir eru góðir. All the same. Þær eru skemmtilegar, þær eru vondar, þær eru góðar. All the same, all regular. And finally, the plural neutral form is the same as the female form. It's the root of the word in all cases. And it goes, þau eru skemmtileg, þau eru vond og þau eru góð. So for the word good, it's only this one case, the neutral singular, that is strange in some way, doesn't go like the normal legur adjective. So okay, I told you that this eth turning into two t's, this is completely regular. So I'll give you an example. One example is the word fróður. Fróður. Somebody who is fróður is knowledgeable about something. Okay, knowledgeable about something, and this is related to the word fræði, which means the knowledge about something. So it's this equivalent of Loki in English, or that comes from Greek, like zoology, biology, etc. We use the word fræði for this, and this is related to the word fróður, which means knowledgeable. And you can see that fróður rhymes with góður, so it should go the same way, and it almost does. You say hann fróður, hún fróð, simply drop the ur, and then we say hán frótt. Hán frótt. So it goes the same way, except for the o doesn't change into an o, that's only for got. But this eth turning into two t's, this is the same for, I think, almost all adjectives where the root of the word ends with an eth. One more example, hraður. Hraður means fast, so somebody who's fast is hraður if he's a male. And then we say hann hraður, hún hröð. We have the sound change that we introduced in lesson number 25 with the samur adjectives. This is fairly regular. Hann hraður, hún hröð, and finally það hratt. So whenever you have this root of the word ending with an eth, and then you have the ur at the end, then the eth will turn into two t's at the neutral singular form. Naturally, we use the word góður a lot, like we do in English and most other languages. It's an extremely common word to use, so it's good to practice this and know how it goes, and there's different versions because you will hear it all the time. So we use it, for example, to describe food, like bananar eru góðir, kjötbollur eru góðar, svið eru góð, epli eru góð, etc. Þessi matur góður. This is a good food. This food is good. You would say more naturally in English, etc. Another example is when we say that we're good at something, like I'm good at knitting, then you would say ég góð í að prjóna. Ég góð í að prjóna. And we use góð for me because I'm a woman, but let's now for a moment imagine that I am a man and I'm good at swimming, then you would say ég góður í að synda. If I'm non-binary, I say ég gott í að hlaupa. Something like this. So if you're good at something, you simply say it like this, ég góð í að tala. Another word that you might use in this context is the word flinkur. Flinkur means that you're skilled at something. Usually skilled at something that requires some dedications and are quite detailed. Like hann flinkur að sauma. Hann flinkur að sauma. But if you're not really good at something, but sort of okay, you might use the word ágætur. Okay? Ágætur. So ágætur is kind of a funny word because back in the day, like really, I don't know how, 50 years ago, let's say 50 years ago, 60 years ago, ágætur used to mean like excellent, something like that was absolutely excellent, outstanding. But I think it was just used so much that now it sort of means like okay, that you're okay at something, then you use the word ágætur. Or if the situation is okay, then you might use the word ágætur in the correct form. And one very brilliant use of this double meaning is I don't know if you know the Icelandic band Sigur Rós. It's one of the Icelandic most famous bands and one of the best ones we've ever had, in my opinion. And their debut album was called Ágætisbyrjun. And then depending on how you interpret it, it can either mean an okay start or like an absolutely top of the line fantastic start. And I think most people agree that it belongs to the second category. So it's sort of humble and bragging at the same time. So this is sort of playing with the word ágætur. But the good thing about ágætur and flinkur is that they are completely irregular. So let's have a pop quiz. Now with the word flinkur, try to put in the correct version of the word into these phrases, and remember that it's better if you try and get something wrong than if you don't try at all. So you get 2 points for every version that you guess, and then you get 1 extra point if you actually guess correctly. The word is flinkur, and remember to just use the pause button if I'm going too fast for you, okay? This is not a competition of speed, it's just a little practice. So the word is flinkur, and it goes like this. Hann hún það þeir eru, þær eru, þau eru. See the solution? Hann flinkur, hún flink, það flinkt, þeir eru flinkir, þær eru flinkar, and þau eru flink. Okay? I hope you managed to guess it correctly. Do it again now with the word ágætur, but also try to remember the pronouns and the verb are, and just make an entire sentence describing how these pronouns are ágætir or okay. Okay, so you have 6 versions. Press pause, try to write them down or say them out loud. 2 points for guessing each version. 1 point extra if you do it correctly. Pause and try on your own. Now I'm going to assume that you did this, and I hope that you did many things correctly, but more importantly that you tried. And then the solution is simply hann ágætur, hún ágæt, það ágætt, also hán ágætt, þeir eru ágætir, þær eru ágætar, and finally þau eru ágæt. So we're starting now, I think we're finally at the place where we're getting comfortable with lýsingarorð that ends with ur. There is a pattern to it, and I hope that it is getting into your brain. The word good we use super a lot, like you can imagine, and there are many phrases that they use this. For example, when you're asked how somebody is doing, or if there are any news, then in Icelandic you would say hvað að frétta, what is the news, how are you, and then the automatic response would be allt gott, everything good. Usually we also have the word vel, which corresponds to well in English. So I hope you do this well. Ég vona að þú gerir þetta vel. So we use it very similarly to English, good versus góður, vel versus well. But there are some minor differences. For example, when I say ég vona að þið hafið það gott, I hope you have it good. In direct translation, in English you would usually say I hope you are well. But in Icelandic we use ég vona að þið hafið það gott if I'm asking for more than one person, or ég vona að þú hafir það gott. And then you could answer ég hef það gott or ég hef það mjög gott. If somebody asks how are you, hvernig hefur það, you could ask ég hef það gott or ég hef það mjög gott. So, ég vona að þið hafið það öll saman mjög gott. Bless bless og sjáumst í næsta þætti. Fylltu inn með orðinu góður. Put in the word góður in the correct form. Press pause, take all the time that you need, and now I will give you the result. Barnið gott, mennirnir eru góðir, börnin eru góð, konurnar eru góðar, konan góð, maðurinn góður. Now try to fill this out with the word blíður, which means gentle or soft. Do your best, press pause and take all the time that you need. And now I will give you the result. Þau eru blíð, það blítt, þeir eru blíðir, þær eru blíðar, hún blíð, hán blítt, hann blíður. Connect the Icelandic sentences with the English ones. Press pause, take all the time that you need, and now I will give you the result. Hann ágætur í að hlaupa, he is okay at running. Þær eru góðar í að tala íslensku, they are good at speaking Icelandic. Hún flink í að baka, she is skilled at baking. Hán gott í að hjóla, they are good at biking. And finally, þeir eru flinkir í að sauma, they are skilled at sewing. Hvað þú góður, flinkur eða ágætur í að gera? Skrifaðu 2 til 3 setningar sjálfa þig. Prófaðu líka að skrifa 2 til 3 setningar einhvern af öðru kyni eða í fleirtölu. So what are you good at, skilled at, or okay at? Try first of all to write a couple of sentences about yourself where you say you're good at some action, I'm good at sewing, I'm good at swimming, I'm okay at dancing, etc. And then when you've tried to do this for yourself, try to do it for someone else who doesn't have the same gender as you, or you can do it about 2 persons, like John and David are good at just to practice a little bit and try to make your own sentences. That is all for today. Thank you very much and see you in the next episode. Bless, bless.